Hello there, and welcome to a video tutorial on the charts that I use for trading with the LizardTrader indicator. As you can see here on this chart, I have the NASDAQ in a 5-minute chart with the daily VWAP and the zero lag oscillator plus the Bloodhound loaded with our strategy template. So basically, just to quickly recap the concept of the strategy that we're trading here is that we want the price to be within this first standard deviation band of the daily VWAP. That's where we'll have most buyers and sellers and likely to catch the trends early on. And then we use the zero lag oscillator to help us define entry points. And we're looking here for retracements into the dominating trend. So here we have a green zero line, which means that we have a uptrend and that all short signals are blocked. And then these white bars here signal a oversold situation in that uptrend. And so after each of these white bars, we're looking for an entry signal. And here we get one. We get an entry signal because the histogram here is showing us a bar which is higher than the previous one. And we can also get a signal bar based on something that we call a thrust bar, like this one here, where you have a close which is above the high of the previous bar. So that's basically a quick recap of the main parts of this this strategy. And then in this case here, we would have entered on the close of the signal bar. So on this bar, the following bar here, and then our stop would have been set below the low, just below the low of the signal bar. And then, as you see here, the market started trending and retraced a little bit without being oversold again. And then the question, of course, becomes here, when do we take the exit? And approaches like this towards the second standard deviation band is, of course, one option, but I'll show you another one a little bit later in this video where we look at a larger time series to look for exit points. And as you see here, I also use the daily pivot. This is in a daily pivot indicator. This is in a 3-minute chart. And I use this to make sure that I'm on the right side of this support and resistance line. So this is a resistance line when the price is below it. Then you see we break above. It's testing this level again, and then not being able to go through it. This is really now an established support level. And so the trade was entered around here, and we always want to enter trades with support levels below us in a short scenario, and we don't want to trade straight into something like this. So the price needs to be above this support level for us to enter the trade. All right, so that's the 3 and 5-minute charts that I'm looking at. It's a daily pivot and the daily VWAP, and I'm comparing these two to find the entries. And then look for the second standard deviations for exits. But we also have a larger time frame chart here. So this one here, the trade that we're looking at. Let me just add a little toolbar shortcut here, so it'll be easier to illustrate what I'm talking about. So the trade that we're talking about here, the exit was towards this point here. This is the weekly pivot level. And when the price hasn't been towards this level for an entire week, we know that it's very likely that we'll have a bounce back from this level. So moving straight into this level, we should know that that's a good time to exit the trade. And as you see here, at other times in the week, this was very important support and resistance level. So this is the previous week low and close points, and we also have here these price levels that are hit several times throughout the week. And so this is very important to have in mind when you're trading this. It's not price levels that are hit very often, but when they are, we often see a clear reaction in the market. So this is the 30-minute chart of the Nasdaq with a weekly pivot point calculation on it. So that's the high, the low, and the close of the previous week drawn in. You see here, previous week high was up here, and then the close and the low coincided down at this level. And then finally, I use a 60-minute chart as well for a trend overview. And this is the rolling VWAP indicator. That's a 3-day average of the 3 previous VWAPs. And you can also use the 5 or the 10. That's up to you, the time series that you want to calculate the VWAP in. But as you see here, it's a pretty strong trend filter here, trying to break through and consolidate over here, and then makes it through, and then our trade then takes place in this area over here, where we're already in a uptrend. So important to pay attention to where we are in a bigger chart. So as I said, this is a 60-minute chart, rolling VWAP, and then I have the weekly pivots in a 30-minute chart, and then I work with 3 and 5-minute chart for the daily pivot and the daily VWAP to find my entries. So I hope this little video has been of value to you. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop by LizardTrader.com and drop us a line in the contact form. We're always happy to hear from you. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.